I feel like lately I've been playing a lot of farming games that have a really good base, but for one reason or another, they kind of fall flat. When you go in expecting a really cozy, relaxing farming game only to find clunky mechanics or shallow systems, it can be pretty heartbreaking. So, on that note, I thought I would do up a little list and maybe open it up for discussion. So, first up is Orange Season. So, at first glance, this one seemed like it could be a really charming farming sim. The art style I thought was really colorful and cute, and the town had some awesome details like power lines running across the streets and a little graveyard tucked away in the corner, and even some really cool events like Tomato Wars that make the game really fun. On paper, it sounds like the exact kind of cozy game I would sink a billion hours into, but the actual gameplay kind of a disaster. Meeting people in town is super frustrating at the start because there's no proper map to guide you around. The controls are kind of a bit awkward, and I found there to be quite a few bugs in this game that really broke the immersion. Quests usually were simple fetch tasks that kind of just repeated themselves, and farming progression was boring and very slow. This one really felt like a game that was only halfway through being done, which was a shame because I feel like they had a really good base setup. It just didn't deliver very well. And it's been a little bit since I've played it, so I'm not sure if they've been able to update it since then. But with these kind of games, I find that when they get as much negative feedback as this one got, it's kind of just put in the trash, I guess. Next up is Sunnyside. And this one actually probably hurt me the most because it was so close to being my dream farming game. I really had high hopes for this one. The setting is incredible. It's a beautiful, detailed Japanese countryside town. You can freely explore on foot, hop on a bike. You can even take a bus into the city and explore there as well. The town has cozy shrines, there's awesome dynamic weather, lots of shops to visit. The immersion in this game is next level. It feels like a living, breathing place rather than just a town in a game. And the farming itself, super good. It feels really realistic without going overboard. Crops are seasonal. Animal care is a little bit more detailed than you would normally find, and you can even build little like coops, and it even comes down to like literally opening up a hatch to collect the eggs or replacing hay inside the coop. It's just awesome. It's hands down the most realistic farming system in a game I have ever played without it kind of ruining the fun. So where did it fall apart? Well, two things pop to mind when I think of that. It's the forced mining system and the absolute game-breaking glitches. The mining section feels like it was pulled from an entirely different game. It's not cozy at all. You're stuck in this weird maze-like area battling enemies with this horrible card system, and it's not fun. And the game forces you to do it quite a bit through the story. And then on top of that, which really was the thing that made me stop playing this game, was the performance. Lots of little issues, menus not opening, the game freezes, I have to restart to fix a lot of things, and then the game force quits constantly. At a certain point, I pretty much just stopped playing because it's not that I didn't enjoy the game, but it's like I couldn't trust the game to work well enough that I wouldn't just keep losing progress. And it's such a shame because Sunnyside almost nails everything else. But when a game keeps force quitting, there's really not much else you can do, unfortunately. Moving on to Stardew Island, which looks like it would be the perfect cozy farming game. There's farming, shopkeeping, magical animals, and this giant tree that connects to different islands. It looks like a good game, but once you actually play it, it's not that good at all. The gameplay loop is horrible. You grow crops, sell them in your shop for harmony points, and then just do that again and again and again. It's got very little depth, and it starts to feel like a grind very quickly on. The NPCs aren't great either. They're bland with awkward dialogue and a really crappy dating system that doesn't really go anywhere. Customization is pretty much non-existent. You can place a few paths and fences down, but it's not enough to make it enjoyable. And then there's also a lot of bugs, constant freezing, random crashes, and all of that horrible, horrible stuff. And after a while, I just couldn't even push myself to keep going. Stardew Island feels more of a money grab game than something that kind of went wrong, and unfortunately, that's becoming more and more common lately. Lastly, and the most recent of these games, we have Tales of the Shire, which might have been the biggest disappointment of all for me. The idea is amazing. A cozy farming sim set in the Lord of the Rings universe, a hobbit home to decorate, a cute village to explore, lots of cozy skills like gardening, fishing, and cooking. It just sounds perfect. And to be fair, some of it does work really well. The hobbit aesthetic is pretty good here. The little round homes, the food, the countryside vibes, the cooking system where you need to invite hobbits over and build relationships by hosting meals. It actually works so, so well and really fits with the whole vibe of the game. So for the first few hours, I was in love. But then, like, the cracks did start to show. Progression is pretty slow. Customization options are limited in some aspects, and most NPCs kind of feel a little bit lifeless with lots of filler NPCs around that don't actually do anything. And like a few others on this list, performance issues, not as big as a problem with this game, but still there. I had at least one crash every 2 hours, and then lots of other little bugs like the sky turning red and, stuff like that. And then I also found that no voice acting and no proper soundtrack made the game just feel really awkward. It feels like an early access game that's meant to give you a little hint at what is amazing and yet to come. But no, this is the final product, which is a shame because the potential here is massive and it must have cost them a ton of money to get the rights to make a Lord of the Rings game. So I don't know why they would half-ass it. How it is now, it's just not quite enough. So yeah, those are the big ones for me. Farming games that had amazing potential but ended up falling flat in one way or another. Orange Season with terrible gameplay. Sunnyside with its performance issues. Sugardew Island just shallow and nothingness. And then Tales of the Shire with it missing quite a bit of content. So let me know if you agree with me on these, or maybe you thought these games were amazing, or maybe I didn't mention how bad they really were. And then, of course, if you think there's another game that belongs on this list, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. So just drop a comment below if you want to have a chat. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!